All right, guys,
Got it.
welcome back to Take the Eight Count. Tonight, I got the legend in the house. I got the man that runs R&B promotions, very talented. He's also the hype man on the mic for fights as well. Alex Barbosa. Alex, thank you for joining tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So let's talk about your first show that you ever did in 2022. It was on the Battleship in New Jersey. So why don't you talk about that, your nerves, and how did the show go for you?
It went as good as my first amateur fight did. And my first amateur fight, I don't remember the first two rounds, and I fought back in the third round nice and strong and still lost the fight. I mean, but it was a beautiful learning experience. Obviously bringing boxing back to the battleship. Well, it was the first time boxing had ever actually happened on the boat. I was involved with Jersey Joe Walcott statue tribute or organization and whatnot, and we did the battles on the battleship, like a fundraiser there. And then I had the idea. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do another one. So we did an amateur show, and then we did the pro show. There was the first time boxing had happened there in over 30 years, and it was a great learning experience. Honestly, dealing with Commissioner Hazard and Commissioner Ronda for the first time in Jersey was just they helped me out tremendously and gave me a lot of the tools that would help me, especially going and doing more shows in New Jersey, but not just Jersey, but then coming over to Pennsylvania. The show the show, God, it feels like a blur. It was like forever ago, but it was literally about a little over a year. I think we had six or seven fights. With Tamir Smalls, he
Hmm.
fought, and lo and behold, he fought then, and then due to complications and issues, he didn't get to fight again. And on my last pro show, that was Tamir's, his last fight. So, yeah, but I mean, it's learning, man. It's just like I tell everybody the same. I tell all my members, the more reps that you get at something, the better you're going to get at it. So
Yes.
I fully expected to need to, learn lessons, and I'm still obviously learning. Like
Yeah.
this show next Friday is going to be the seventh show, and even with that, there's a learning curve. I'm still getting it together. So we got seven, then we got the eighth show lined up for December 1st, right back at 2300. So we're just, R&B Promotions is here, guys, and we're not going anywhere. We're building something, and I'm
Love it.
excited.
Awesome. Now, you did mention that you have done six shows.
Uh-huh.
Now, has are you kind of shocked of like what you've learned, or like was it kind of like maybe I'm gonna word it wrong, but like is it kind of like I wasn't expecting this, like as a promoter, or like any type of shock, or like something that you haven't noticed, or maybe you weren't prepped for,
Not
like I
really,
learned on the way?
not really. Everybody has. So New Jersey and Pennsylvania have different, you know, I want to say qualifications and
Hmm.
requirements, from the medicals to the licensing. Uh, but not for nothing. Once you learn, you pay attention to the reps. Like, you pay attention to the rules, and then you're just like, all right, this is what I got to do in order to make it happen. Both Commissioner Hazard and Commissioner Serb have been very easy to deal with, very hands-on. We'll help you out. They want to see boxing succeed because they're both boxing heads.
Hmm.
Like they genuinely care for the sport. So they want to see it, flourish in their respective states. So I nothing has really caught me off guard, per se. I mean, I being a retired fighter, and then, you know, being an announcer and a matchmaker, owning
Right.
my gym, like I've been kind of around. So it's not like I'm not privy to the information that would, allow me to succeed. So I don't. It wasn't anything shocking, to be honest with you. And now, that being said, I'm sure on the next show something for the very first
Right.
time will happen, and I'll have to, But every single show has been just a great learning experience, and they seem to be getting better and better and better. And I'm pumped for show seven, man. To say that we have a former world champion, but not just a former world champion, but a guy who's like surging back towards
Hmm.
world title contention. It's not like we got a former world champion who is, just kind of playing around. Like, he's actually surging towards trying to become the two-time
Oh
two-time
yeah.
world champion at 130. And I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. Like, I 100% believe that at 130 pounds, Tevin is dangerous and will be a world champion next year. I mean, he's a tough fight for anybody, especially some of these younger guys are gonna look at him and be like, yeah, he's there for me. He's older. I can this, that, and the third. Nah, Tevin's still got a lot in the
Yeah.
tank, and Tevin now is a little bit different, and it just in his demeanor and the way that he is conducting himself. And I get the privilege of watching him train and
Hmm.
seeing how he works. And there's a focus. There's a genuine focus now that I'm like, all right, like this is a dangerous man right now.
Yeah.
And that being said, he didn't want, he didn't want anything. He needed a fighter. He needed a guy, tough like Oscar. He
Hmm.
needed a Verdugo. He needed a guy who's going to come in and really test him, push him to the limits because Verdugo's not coming in to lose. Barajas is coming in with the intention of just, establishing himself as the Philly wrecking machine, the
Oh
Philly
yeah.
assassin, like you said.
Yes.
A guy who comes in and handles his business, and he's done it. I think, like I said, his last three have been in Philadelphia, and they've been wins, like
Hmm.
and like B-side wins, like just opponent comes in and just a tough guy, And I've had the privilege to watch him fight, and that's why I said, nah, this is exactly the kind of fight that a guy who wants to be a world champion again needs on his resume, especially coming back, like, to continue because there's only tough guys at 130. It's not like there's, easy walk in the park champs
Right.
there. You're gonna have to go in there and fight some dogs. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
exciting. I'm pumped for this fight, man. There's gonna be fireworks. I'm very
Same.
excited.
And you hit it right on the head, Alex, because I believe you were at his return fight in June when he fought Avery Sparrow, and you could tell Avery, I guess, thought maybe he was gonna go in there and win, but Tevin, man, even when I talked to him post press conference, I was like, you honestly couldn't have told if there was any type of ring rust. The way Tevin was moving, was able to land his shots, he looked really, really good. But when I was talking to him, he was like, nah, I mean, you guys look like made well, like saying that like we thought he'd have ring rust, but he sure didn't feel like it. And I thought that was kind of interesting that Tevin said it. But then again, that was his first fight since Jojo Diaz. He had to get ready a few times for unforeseen circumstances that happened with like Mickey Bay and stuff and all too. But yeah, no, but Tevin looked great. And also for those who don't know or haven't seen the poster that Alex did post on his social media accounts, he is fighting Oscar Barajas. He is a hell of a fighter. He shook the world fighting Damon Allen Jr. last year. Nobody thought Baby Dame was going to lose, trust me. And then he also fought another local guy, Jerome Conquest, too. For those, if you guys were at that card too. So Oscar is going to bring the rounds, and he's also going to he's there not to lose. And obviously, what Alex said, Tevin needs those rounds, and I think he's going to be very, very successful against Oscar too, for sure.
I mean, I know he's gonna. I mean, he's gonna get the rounds, but not for
Hmm.
nothing. If if he comes out and doesn't execute his game plan or decides that he wants
Yeah.
to punch with the puncher, I mean, there's no guarantees. Like, there's no guarantees in boxing. You could stand there and punch with a puncher. That's not your shit. Like, now if Tevin gives us the Tevin Farmer that people have grown accustomed to seeing, the slick defensive movements, the exceptional counter punching, the ability to
Right.
be first and just move out the way and clear it, well, then it's going to be a tough night for Oscar. And honestly, I don't, I don't know if there's anybody at 130 pounds that can deal with an A+ Tevin Farmer.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that anyone has trouble with the A+ Tevin Farmer because it's like, let's not forget the man had 4 world title defenses. You
Yeah.
know, off, and then even before that, like the Agawa fight was kind of like I watched the fight. I was like, I thought Tevin did enough to win that right there and then.
Right.
So, I the man was highly active, highly busy, fought at the elite level. So, it's only a matter of, it's to be honest, it's a matter of getting past Verdugo next week. He's got to get
Yes.
past Barajas because everything stops. All the two-time talk, everything stops dead in its tracks if a guy like
Yeah.
Verdugo, pulls the upset. And he's 1,000% capable of it.
Oh yeah.
He's done it before. Um, but again, and that's what it's intriguing. It's what makes intriguing fights, and that's what as a promoter and the matchmaker and the guy involved with. I know boxing. I'm not just a business guy who's just an
Right.
outsider looking in. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Like I've dedicated about half my life to being involved with the game. Not to mention my father had a gym in Allentown when I was a kid. So boxing has been a part of my life for a healthy amount of time. Like I want to say I'm about to be 40. I'll be 40 in January.
Wow.
I've been involved with this going on like 30 years now. That's a bit. And so I think I know what I'm seeing when I'm seeing certain things. I'm just, and I'm trying, and like I was saying yesterday on a podcast, I want to make sure that we R&B promotions, we present the best possible product for the fans, because at the end of the day, $65 to get in, like you got to make sure you get value. There's
Mhm.
value on that. The last card we put on a 10 fight banger, a lot of prospects and new beginning guys, and
Right.
Dion Butt was the main event, but Tamir Smalls, we had a whole bunch of, but there was value on that card. And
Yeah.
right now we've got on this card, yes, seven fights. We had a couple of injuries, a couple of things happen. It's boxing, but from top to bottom, I mean, we have Farmer versus Barajas. Obviously, is the main event. But before
Hmm.
that, we have a co-feature. We have Olawafemi, Olaye, Olawale, Olale, Ol Olawafemi, Olaleye. All right,
Uh-huh.
the Nigerian Nightmare who trains out of
Yeah.
Pivot Boxing Academy. He fought on our last show, and now he's with R&B Promotions. He's with
Oh,
us now.
nice. Okay.
He'll be in the co-feature spot. He's 13-0. He's fighting Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams has fought everybody. I mean,
Hmm.
Jimmy Williams is tough. And he's not fighting Jimmy Williams at 160 pounds, like a lot of people get Jimmy Williams at. He's fighting him at his right weight, 154. So I'm trying to get the best version of Jimmy Williams, because I know that the best version of Jimmy Williams is a tough guy. He's tough. He can box. He's slick. He's crafty. He's been in there with elite opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, needs this. He needs that type of test. And so it's a good matchup for both of these men. You know what I mean? And when you give that to people, it's not like, oh, okay, well, yeah, he's gonna kill the other guy, a little short, stumpy guy who doesn't know what he's doing. Like yeah, people are intrigued by that. We have Carlos Rosario, Rock Hands versus Philip Davis. Philip Davis is another one of those guys who goes into people's backyards and upsets them.
Yeah.
He's done it numerous times. He's come to Philly a couple times and upset a couple guys. Josh Jones returns. He's fighting
Josh Jones. Yeah.
Jonathan Perez from Colombia, and
Oh.
Perez is an 80-something fight vet. Like that guy is coming, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
a 4 round fight. But Josh is still getting back into the mix from a healthy 2.5 year layoff. So, the idea is, and Josh is also with the Pivot Boxing Academy. In an intriguing fight, I have Alan Otto, who's 2-0, fighting James Abraham, another 2-0. Alan
Hmm.
Otto he's one of the guys that he's an MMA fighter, crossed over into boxing. I've known Alan for a long time. And James Abraham is someone who just reached out to me on the gram. I hit me up, said I want to fight. I said, cool, I got this fight for you. He said, all right. So let that be a lesson, guys. Fighters, you want to fight, you want to be active. My recommendation: get your ass out there, put your name out there,
Yeah.
tell people you want to fight, and and be willing to accept fights. Like the days of you fighting 15 cab drivers, it's over for that, guys.
Yeah.
All right. COVID changed everything. Fighters, I'm talking specifically to you. You need to step up and start fighting people, period. Like it has to be, the promoters are going to give you guys, like, you can price yourself right out. And I'll tell you this, one of the things that I am learning is that fighter don't want to fight, fighter ain't gonna fight. They'll just come up with all kinds of reasons. I've heard it all in 6 shows, believe me. I got some excuses. I got
Yeah.
some
I can
excuses for you.
imagine.
You know what I mean? Then I have a rematch with Daniel Bean and Rob
Yes.
Perez at
And
heavyweights.
Perez.
those guys, man, look, so they started the show last time and they started it with just ferocity and just violence. They were, ooh, it was just heavyweights. Heavyweights are great, you know. And
Oh, of
Rob Perez,
course.
if you don't follow Rob Perez, he's one of those slap. He does the like, I want to say slap boxing, but that's not it. It's like power slap where they
Hmm.
just slap the shit out of you. You got to eat it. And this man is just, he's a wild boy. He's 1-0 in that, 1-0 in boxing. So, you know, and then to start the show will be Gandhi Romaine. Now, Gandhi Romaine
Oh,
fought
okay.
versus Anthony Dill on the last show.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Gandhi
Anthony
Romaine
Dill.
was boxing. He was boxing Anthony Dill beautifully. Matter of fact, in the third round, he knocked him down twice. All right. And in boxing, boy, boxing. But in the round three, and if you get to watch, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. But like
Yes.
Anthony Dill came back and got the stoppage win on Gandhi. And there, you know, and it was I watched the stoppage a couple times. I don't ever question the officials because it's a bang bang thing and they know what they're doing. I tell everybody at the amateur shows, at the pros, these are professionals, guys. Like these referees, these officials, they've been doing this shit for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You weekenders, y'all better just shut the hell up and let them do their job. Like, you know, when the official I want to say David Braslow was the official of the fight. When he stopped the fight, it's because he saw something that he didn't like. And, you know, he prevented Gandhi from, you know, possibly being hurt more or
Hmm.
irreversibly because you don't play this shit. But Gandhi's making, you know, he'll be fighting a guy, pro debut, Benny Bagai from New York. So 0-1 versus pro debut, you know, pro debut's coming to win. He's not coming to lay down. He's not like a 0-16. Like he's coming to fight. Benny is coming. So it's, you know, from top to bottom, I try to provide the absolute value to the paying public, the patrons, the people that are coming up, boxing fans. They want to be entertained.
Yeah.
For that 3 hour block on Friday the 29th, I want to give you something that you could just kind of escape and just be present, be in the moment, enjoy the atmosphere, the energy, all the positivity, and just, you know, respect the sweet science. And I owe that to our fans by making sure that I give them a quality product.
I like that. Yeah, no, it is a hell of a card. Trust me, a lot of those guys that you named, I'm very, very familiar with just covering them the
Yeah,
last 3 years and all. So this is a really good card. So for those that want to come out, definitely hit up R&B Promotions. I'm sure there's a link on 2300arena.com as well too. And
yeah,
fighters
for
also
sure.
have tickets on hand too until they got to give them back or until them hands are empty.
Well, I mean, we're expecting a sellout. Like I
Yeah.
expect that
Oh yeah.
you're not going to be able to. Probably by the weigh-ins, the tickets will probably be done. There may be some tickets released after the weigh-ins that we're trying to kind of because we want to be fair. You know, I get
Hmm.
it. Some people will only be able to walk up and get it right, but the online, like online, I want to say it's like 90% already. You very
Oh.
limited. And then you know we have the live stream, and for those that can't get there or want to get in but aren't able to or are not local to Philadelphia but you're still interested. I mean, to see a to see a former world champ again, like on the rise again. Like, you know, Tevin's got almost a 500,000, like I think 400
Yeah.
something thousand followers on social. He's got, you know, Tevin's a bit of he's still enough of a draw. You know, people are still interested in checking him out. So I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. I'm pumped. Go to combatsportsnow.com. That's where we're streaming it. The live stream will be available. Also, real quick, there is no other live stream other than
Oh yeah.
combatsportsnow.com because all of a sudden these new spammers and whatnot, they're trying to just fight TV. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not this or it's not anything else. It's
Yeah.
combatsportsnow.com. That's us.
Yeah. Watch out for them comments because I saw for another promoter they had a fight last Friday and there wasn't no
Uh-huh.
stream and they were adding people on Facebook and acting like they were like a Facebook.
Yep.
It was crazy. Yeah, so just watch out. So when Alex says it's combat sports, it's combat sports. There's no other link.
No, it's combatsportsnow.com.
Yeah.
It's actually combatsportsnow.com /events black Philly fight night 3. I just gave
Exactly.
it to you right there, just like that. Or just go to the R&B page at
Yeah.
RANDB PROMO on Instagram, and you'll see us right there.
All right. Now, also to go back to your main event, how did the negotiations come about, and like what made you want to have Tevin on your card September 29th, or how did that come about? Which is trying to get just having that conversation with Tevin to see if you'd like to join the card.
Me and Tevin, I mean, I posted a photo back. I posted a photo not too long ago where back in 2014, he was helping me get ready for like my ninth pro fight or something. And we were training out at Guts and Glory in Berlin, New Jersey. And this was prior, obviously, prior to the World Championship. He was on the rise. He was with Mark Cipriano in
Oh yeah.
1957 Club 19. He was with them, and they were moving accordingly. And I was training with Chino at the time, preparing for my next fight, and it wasn't so. I say that to say that I've known Tevin for a little bit, about a decade, probably a little longer than that. But um, and him training at my club, it was only a matter of time, if you will. Once I crossed over and was now promoting and involved with the actual event planning, we hashed out over conversation, and that was it. Made sense. He explained what he wanted to do. I explained to him what I wanted to do, and it was able to work for the both of us. And my partner, Carlos Rosario, helped facilitate it all, and just a beautiful meeting, and that's how we got to the 29th.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it is a hell of a main event. Everyone should be excited for it. For those who aren't familiar with both, you're out of your mind. You need to go on YouTube now and start looking up highlights because we are in for a show for the main event for sure. And then let's touch up on your venues that you have um been in so far. So you were in AC, I think you were at a couple casinos, and you were at Battleship, which we touched on, and then you did 2300, I think, earlier in the summer, and now you're back,
Yeah.
and then you're doing it in December again. Is there any other venues you have on your eye on for 2024?
Well, in 2024, we're looking again for Atlantic City. I like Atlantic
Okay.
City. I like working with some of the people there. I would like eventually to bring something closer to home, and home for me is South Jersey,
Okay.
like South Jersey, Cherry Hill is where my club is.
Okay.
But again, it just has to make sense. The one thing that I always I always want to remind everybody, the fighters and everybody involved, is like, guys, it's still a business at the end of the day. Like, I never want anybody to forget. Like, as a fighter, I always knew that, and I always was very aware of the fact that it is a legitimate business. The promoters can only be there and continue to put these events on if everyone is working in unison there, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone, fighters say you're going to take X tickets, great, you move those tickets. I see a lot of commentary on like ticket sales, and sometimes promoters requiring people to sell tickets and whatnot. Well, my response to that is real simple, because I was the ticket seller. I had 10 pro fights, and I was the ticket seller of my fights. And it, guys, how else do you think the shit happens? Like,
Right.
it's not crazy, all right, to expect fighters to sell tickets at the beginning of their career when they're trying to build themselves up. Now, some fighters can, some fighters won't, and that's fine too. And those fighters, I recommend they do a handful of things. The first one is be all right with fighting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Like, if you don't give a shit, cool, go fight people. Like, you will always have a fight available to you, especially if you can't sell tickets. And not for nothing, the beautiful thing about boxing is that the cream will always rise to the top. So if you're that goddamn good, go fight anybody anywhere, and fuck, you beat their ass. You beat a handful of people's ass. A guy like me is gonna say, "Oh shit, I want you." I, I'll bite the bullet and let me move you, because I see a stone cold savage, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know um or go sell tickets. Like, you want to quote unquote be the A side, like every fighter tells me they want A side slots, they want to be the A side. I'm like, all right, cool, well, go sell tickets, Poppy.
Right.
Like, hi, A side, $7,000. Like, go move shit. And that's all you could do. That, or there's just, take what you take, fight your ass to the top. It's the beautiful thing about boxing. Nobody controls the outcome but the fighter. The fighter can decide, tonight's my night. You could be fucking have lost every single fight, And goddamn, tonight he closes his eyes and bites down on his fucking mouthpiece, and oh, it's
Yeah.
boxing. I love it. It's the most. It's that's what always reeled me into it. It was the uncertainty, but also the fact that damn, the will of one person could just be some wild, outlandish shit.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely my favorite sport. I mean, obviously, I've never gotten into the ring, but I just enjoy networking and talking to you guys and just learning about the game. Like to me, it's like kind of like as crazy as it sounds, even though it's a very violent sport. It's kind of like therapy to me, where you're able to forget about anything you got, and you're able just to focus and watch them guys, and they're in the ring and try to win it all. It's crazy. It's a good
It
sport.
is. It is, and that's why I base my entire business. Like, well, not just okay. The promoting is nice now, but like before that, my fucking gym. Like my gym is
Right.
we're a fitness club. We use boxing, the fitness of boxing, boxing and kickboxing, striking, the martial art of it, in order to help people just get in shape. And we teach people how to punch and kick and hit the bags. And for that 50 minutes, you're lost. But more importantly, you're giving yourself a hell of a workout, and you're hopefully stretching your life a little bit longer because who doesn't like to live?
Right.
If the pandemic showed us anything, it's that you need to take care of yourself. If a respiratory illness shows up again, we get our ass kicked as a country. It's only our fault because boy, that shit crippled us. Like and by no means am I trying to minimize
Right, right,
the.
right. Yeah.
I don't ever want to come off as an insensitive dick. I'm not. I know plenty of
Right.
people lost their lives and so on and so forth. But yeah, when it all shakes out, it was a respiratory
Yeah.
illness that so happened to hit people who had, more issues, pre-existing issues, or
Hmm.
just it's tough. But I do know that the people that were cardiovascularly healthier, they kind of they came and they kept it moving. Because I mean, I tested positive for COVID a couple times, so I think
Right.
I was all right. The little sniffles and shit. That was cool.
Yeah. Now that was like when I first started the podcast, and that was like when I started having the guests. It was like fascinating to see, how the guys were, just staying ready, even though it took like a whole year. We didn't see like people trying to roll out shows till the end of 2020, but that was just such a confusing time. It was crazy just to see how the guys were training and making gyms in their own basements or just sneaking
Bro,
out and going to the gym.
my gym was open because of the technicality that
Ah,
professional fighters were allowed to continue training.
I
Professionals
like that.
were allowed to
Okay.
continue. So no,
Yeah.
but to be fair, I did keep it close to my members. But the pros, like the Tevins, and
Right.
we had a handful of other guys that Chino had at the time, like the Ray Ford, like for instance,
Oh
Ray
yeah.
Ford's always been out of my club.
He
His
was
whole pro
active.
career has been out of my club. He's been, so they had to train, and I understood. So they got to train.
Exactly. Well, that was awesome. They were able to keep your doors open for them, for
We
for
tried, man.
sure.
We
They had to.
built a we built a family atmosphere, and the
Yeah.
family atmosphere was more than just the pro fighters. It was more the community of our fitness members. They kept us alive.
Hmm.
They kept us operational.
That's awesome. All right. So, final question: do we have any special guests pulling up on the 29th to come and see the big event? We got anyone special coming?
We're gonna always have special guests. Off the top of my head, I know that there's gonna always be the boxing community. They're gonna always show out. Like I have a handful of guys that I know are working, but there's also a show going on in Atlantic City that same night.
Right.
So I think whoever comes, people will pull up and they'll
Yeah.
come. I know what we're gonna have. I'll have a handful of professional fighters either working with me, working for us, there with us, showing support and love. The Philly boxing is Philly boxing, and I love Philly boxing
Yeah.
because they show out. So it's gonna be a good night. I expect it'll be a it'll be a crowded house. Like it'll
Yeah.
be a packed house, and you're gonna see a lot of people. You're gonna let me know who you see after
Yeah.
the
I
fact when we
got
talk
you.
about this. We talk about this for the next one. You gonna let me know all the special guests that were
I got you. Definitely. I'm gonna have a notepad. It'll be like, check. Okay, they're here.
That's it. That's it. You'd be like, wow, I saw this person, I saw that person. I'm like, well, see, they show out.
Yeah. Well, Alex, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. I'm finally glad to come and cover one of your shows and also do some uh post fight interviews with the guys. Maybe I'll even chat back with you the following week too, and we'll do like a recap video and all about the card.
Let's do it.
All right, Alex. Thank you so much as always. Appreciate you.
No doubt, my man. Have a good one.
All right.